Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Leadership Void podcast. I'm Enrique with my co-host Vince to bring you the best in our veteran, military spouse, and first responder community. And Vince will introduce today's guest.
Oh, thanks, Enrique. You know, November is cooling off, but here we're heating up with this next guest, Tim Anderson. Guess what? He's the owner of My HealthMatrix from Oviedo, Florida. Tim, welcome to the show. Tell us about you.
Hey, Vince, thank you very much. So I appreciate y'all having me on the show. I am a veteran, Army veteran. I was a combat medic, deployed Operation Desert Storm. After being deployed, I got respiratory therapy training through the military. Then I left military, went back to civilian life, went and got training as a physician assistant. I was in Fort Worth, Texas for about 25 years. About 8 years ago, we relocated to Orlando, Florida. I've been a PA for about 20 years. I've done a lot of different specialties. First 10 years, I did primary care, urgent care, pediatrics, orthopedics, traditional straight up medicine. The last 9-10 years, I've been doing hormone replacement therapy and holistic wellness, kind of looking more whole body. And we opened a clinic about 9 months ago in Lake Mary, Florida. And that's kind of the short version.
Well, first of all, thank you for your service. And I am so proud that you went from what you did in the service and have transformed it into this entity. So I wanted to ask you, tell us more about My HealthMatrix.
So My HealthMatrix, we kind of look at the whole body, and that's the difference between traditional medicine and what we do. So in traditional medicine, it's very silo-oriented. You're focusing on a specific problem. You go to ortho, you go to renal, you go to dermatology, you go to, a specific person. What we do is we kind of try and look at the whole body, and we try and fix deficiencies. We're not looking for a Band-Aid. We're not looking for necessarily a chemical medication to fix a deficiency. We get labs. We have long visits with our patients. A normal intake is 2 hours for a patient visit. I have patients that come to see me and they're like, I just spent 2 hours with you. And some in their mid-40s, they're like, I don't know that I've ever spent 2 hours in my whole life with all the providers that I've ever seen combined. And so, just that one visit, they're already going, whoa, this is different. And so we're looking at, it's not just the hormone piece. Yes, hormones are amazing. Hormones are important. It's your sleep. It's your stress management. It's your diet. Where's your thyroid at? Where are you iron deficient? Are you having regular bowel movements? Are you having pain? Are you having bloating? We look at kind of all of you. Yes, we look at labs, and labs are super important, but labs are just numbers. I don't treat a piece of paper. I'm treating my individual patient. And so when you start looking at lab numbers and they talk about normal values, everybody's seen the ranges on the values. Usually it's on the right-hand side. Who gets lab drawn regularly? Not usually the healthy people. And so if the healthy people aren't in your pool, who's in your pool? People with chronic illnesses, high blood pressure, low thyroid, pre-diabetes, people who don't feel good. Yes, there's some healthy people getting labs on the regular, but if I was to ask you, for example, when's the last time that you had a full lab panel done? Has it been within the last year? Probably not. Most people, that's a no answer. And so when you start looking at normal numbers, it's the people who have chronic illnesses. I don't want you to be normal. I want you to feel amazing. And so we reference the numbers, but I really care about your symptoms as an individual, and everybody's number is not the same where they need to be to feel better, whether that's thyroid, whether that's testosterone, whether that's estrogen, whether that's progesterone, whatever the number is, it's what do you need to feel better? And that's what makes our protocol different and we think more sustainable is we're looking at the individual patient, not just lumping them, hey, everybody cookie cutter needs to be here.
No, definitely, Tim. I hear the passion through your words, and I definitely commend everything you do in this holistic approach. Now, hearing you say all this, you went from the military, from the Army, here you are 9 months into Lake Mary's office, owning a great company. So talk about your entrepreneurship, either lessons learned or challenges you'd like to share with our audience.
So that was always one of I got the medical piece. I've had the medical piece for a while. I knew I had the knowledge. I've always been terrified from a business standpoint. And so we actually UCF has a entrepreneurial certificate program. It's a 1.5-year program where my wife and we did this together as a team, and we both went to school every Wednesday night for 3 hours after clinic, she was at the university, went to school every Wednesday for 3 hours at 6,000 level, graduate level business classes. We had no business in there because we were so lost, but we are go-getters. And so we connected with the professors, we connected with other people in the class, and we connected with each other even better. And we got through the classes. And yes, I now know what questions to ask. I now know where to look. No, I don't know all the business stuff, but I have a good partner, but it's you have to have that foundational piece. And for me, from having military experience, that always, everybody, strap up your boots, let's go dig deep. And even though you might be lost, you always find a way out of the darkness. And so for us, it's the communicate. For me personally, it's the communication. I lead by example. I'm always there, always available for your team, open door policy. We did these classes, then we started having conversations, and I said, okay, I think I'm ready. And so we launched the clinic, and it's been a blessing. And we knew it was going to be a lot of work, and it's so much more work than I even could have dreamed it was going to be. But my patients, they're so amazing. They give me so much energy. My patients tell me, we're so proud of you. Thank you for what you do for helping us. And it's getting that feedback that just you continue to drive.
Well, there's no doubt that education and entrepreneurship is critical. Both Vince and I are graduates of a UCF veteran incubator program, so we know how valuable that is. And it has definitely set us all on a great trajectory. And so, talking about trajectory, what's on the horizon for you and My HealthMatrix?
So I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to expand my knowledge. I consider myself a lifelong learner. And so there's a couple of groups that I've recently joined to try and expand my knowledge and my network and my connections. There's a group called FAVOB, F-A-V-O-B, Florida Association of Veteran Entrepreneurs. And so that is a group of veterans who are business owners who you can connect in with. And there's a group that I'm doing some classes with next month called VEI, Veteran Entrepreneur Initiative. And they offer free services for veteran business owners to kind of help guide you, put you together, network you. And I'm super excited about that. And so that's kind of the near-term growth that I'm trying to personally put together. One of the things we did when we launched this clinic is we launched a private label supplement company as well. So we kind of launched two businesses at once. We kind of bit hard on the apple, so to speak. So right now, what we're trying to do is, I'm the rate limiting step. I can only see about 500 patients. And I know in my heart, and I know through my patients' experiences, that there are more than 500 people who need the services that we offer. So the only way for us to expand that touch is to train other providers to run the structured program that has reproducible results that we have created. So our next steps is we're getting ready to start training docs, nurse practitioners, and PAs in our protocol so that we can expand the touch. So if I can only see 500, but I can get 5, 10 other providers seeing 500 people, now we're touching another 2,500 to 5,000 people. And then you start extrapolating that out. And that's where my impact really comes in, is through surrogates who are running the protocol that we're creating.
Oh, absolutely. That's the ripple effect, right? T3, right? Train the trainer.
Right.
So I love
Right.
everything I'm hearing, and it's going to be phenomenal. Not only touch 500, but you're going to touch maybe 15,000. So that's the goal, right? My HealthMatrix will definitely go to the next level here in the near future. You heard it first here on TLV. And great thing, you have groups that help you on your professional journey, VEI and FAVOB. So what else do you do to sharpen your saw, as they say, to aid you to thrive in your professional life?
So it's just having one-on-one meetings. It's identifying experts in the field. It's identifying, making connections with other hormone providers. It's, talking to my reps. Hey, what new thing is coming down the line? It's having conversations, going to professional meetings, and hey, what is on the horizon? And it's trying things. Honestly, everybody is different. Everybody needs different things. So even the protocol that we run, it's always evolving, and it's slowly evolving. The core foundational things are always going to be a part of what we do, but there's peripheral things. We do a lot of peptides. We do a lot of supplements. We do a lot of nutrition. We just launched a exercise program into our ecosystem. And so we're just trying to look for different things to bring in to help our patients, but it's just making personal connections, like the connections that I'm making with you guys, and having learning from your podcast, listening to your podcast, listening to the experts that you've had on. Oh, I've never thought about that. That's really where I'm at, is just I'm in a growth phase right now, because again, I've never owned a business before. And so I'm 9 months in, we've had amazing growth, but my trajectory is here right now. And so I'm just kind of drinking from a fire hose, so to speak. And it's just sucking it all in.
Well, evolution and growth is inevitable. We have to do it, or we're going to get stagnant and die. And so proud of all the things that you are taking advantage of to help you evolve and grow. Now, some of that evolution and growth happened to you during the service times and all your times in medicine. So
Right.
What advice did you receive that you would like to pass on to an emerging leader today?
So for me, it's listen to your team. You want to surround yourself. One of the probably the biggest takeaways that I got from the program we did at UCF is, and you see this, is you don't want to surround yourself with a bunch of people who think like you think. Because if you surround a bunch of people with people who think like you think, you're never going to have new ideas enter into the system, because the ideas are only the ideas that are yours, because everybody's like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. No, you need somebody who's a counterpoint, somebody who's an outside thinker, somebody who can bring a little bit of sandpaper, so to speak, to the conversation, a little roughness to, oh, I've never thought about that. Who are your consumers? Who's the people that you're going after? Those are the people that you need to be having conversations with, not a team that thinks exactly like you. To me, that's probably the biggest thing that I would, my recommendation. And again, obviously the communication piece is super huge.
Super huge indeed. Definitely. We had a great guest talk about mentorship of like-minded or tormentorship, right? So you have to definitely have a diverse pool of individuals, because if not, that's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. But definitely diversity is important. Great advice for those emerging leaders. Tim, we'd love to know most memorable leadership aha moment you'd like to share with our audience as well.
So probably there was, it wasn't even as a PA. I was a respiratory therapist, and I used to work in a pediatric intensive care unit. And, we were taking care of, little guys, 2 months old, all the way up to 18 years old. And, sometimes there were bad outcomes, and, they would, hearts would stop, and we'd have to do code and, CPR and things like that. And, to me, the biggest impact was the lead physician for that hospital, for the intensive care unit, when there was a situation and, everybody's, it's chaos, it's controlled chaos, but it's chaos. He would come to the bedside, to the foot of the bed, he would sit down, and he would say, everybody stop. And, everybody would stop. He said, everybody take a breath. Okay, now let's take care of this situation. He would bring calmness to a chaotic situation. And to me, that's probably, and it sounds crazy, but to me, that's been so impactful for me, is always take a breath, take a step back, take a breath, then make your decisions.
Wise advice indeed, especially in a chaotic event. it's easy to get frazzled, and everybody's trying to do a well-intended things, but sometimes can clash and cause challenges. So speaking about challenges, what are certain strategies you use with your team to deal with change and challenge?
So one of the things we do, we try and have a weekly team meeting just to kind of, hey, what's new, what's different, what kind of challenges are we seeing? We're a very small office. We only have 3 employees plus myself. And so you have to be very nimble. And so it's that communication. It's the open door. It's having what's happening in the moment. How can we change? I don't know if this change is good. What we're doing right now isn't necessarily working. Let's try something different. Let's reconvene in a couple weeks. Has the change made whatever the process was faster, or is that process now even in a worse state? And if that's even in a worse state, okay, we go back to the other way, which wasn't the best way, but now let's look at, okay, this way doesn't work. Let's try another way. And it's leaning into your expertise. Again, I'm not a nurse. I'm not the front desk person. I can come in and go, hey, we should do it this way. And they're like, hold on. We've tried it that way and it didn't work. Okay, cool. Because you're the stakeholder, do you have a suggestion of what might make that work better? But it's just involving your team in that decision-making process and not always knowing you're not the content expert in every area. How do you bring your team in to help you with those decisions?
Definitely sage advice, and you shared some great tips, Tim. And for everyone out there listening in, My HealthMatrix is here. If you want to do exercise, have some definitely supplements, or definitely this great, under the hood take. 2 hours you're going to be spending with this young man, just learning about everything to do to make yourself healthier. And folks listening in want to know how to do so. Tim, how did they get a hold of you or My HealthMatrix?
So at My HealthMatrix, you can go to our Google link, My HealthMatrix Lake Mary. On that website, our website link is on there. Our reviews are on there. You can kind of see what our patients are seeing about us. You can go to healthmatrix.com. That is our website. Or you can even call the office and speak with Kristen directly. She's amazing, at 321-321-6461. And we will be happy to answer questions. And I tell patients all the time, and everybody has access to my cell phone. We're not traditional medicine. Everybody has access to me. My patients don't abuse me. Everybody's like, people like you, like, you give your patients your cell phone? I'm like, yes, because I don't want them to feel like they're on an island. If there's issues, concerns, they need to be able to answer those questions or concerns because we don't want them confused. So we're happy to have conversations. Even if you don't do anything with hormone replacement therapy, you get a full in-depth lab. We spend 1.5 to 2 hours educating you, letting you know where potential gaps may be. And you may or may not choose to do anything. That's okay. But you now have a baseline to put in your pocket so that in 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, if something's off, they'll be like, oh, this is normal. And you can go, no, it's not. I have labs from 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago that says otherwise.
Well, that's a great approach at Invested Healthcare. And folks, we will have that information as part of the video and show notes for you to get a hold of Tim and his services. And if you want to get a hold of the Leadership Void podcast, the leadershipvoid@gmail.com is where you'll send those correspondences. If you'd like to see a featured guest or a leadership topic covered, you can do it by those means.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tim mentioned 2 of our great sponsors, VEI and FAVOB. Also, we have Triple Nickel taking care of our wonderful TLV. But today was all about Tim and My HealthMatrix. Tim, thank you for being here on the show, and much success in your future.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you having me on. And if there's anything I can ever do to help you guys, please let me know.